Hello, today I'm going to talk about the animated series Invincible. Now, I want to say that I am a huge fan of Invincible, the comic book series. I read it, uh, not when it first came out, I read it, I think, in 2010, and I finished the whole series, and I thought it was great. I think if you're a fan of Superman or Dragon Ball Z, you are going to love it. In fact, the story is very similar to Dragon Ball Z. I've been told it's similar to the story of Gohan, the son of Goku. Like if the story was based on Gohan instead of Goku, what would it have been like? And and I liked it. I liked the story. I liked Mark Grayson. I thought it was a fun time. But I do not like the animated series. I think it's boring. Like it takes itself very seriously, which the comic book did not. The comic book was surprisingly funny. Yes, there was a lot of blood and gore and a lot of um, serious topics that were discussed, but it never took itself too seriously. It always had some jokes that lightened the mood. Now, I understand some of those jokes did not age well. I understand that, but that doesn't mean there can be new jokes. The ones that goes with the time. But no, the show is extremely serious, and I do not care for that. Another thing that I don't care for is the changes in character. I think the characters in the comic books had more depth. Like, for example, Mark. In the show, Mark seems very. The best way to say it would be whiny. The book he wasn't whiny. Book he had his difficulties, but he grows into a man basically. Like at first he has his difficulties, but as time goes on, he rises to the occasion, I would say. And Eve, another character who had an amazing story arc that the show abandoned for some reason. I don't know why. There is literally a story arc, not story arc, but a section of the series where she stops being a superhero, moves to moves to Africa, and just helps people with their everyday need. She, digs well, helps another way in food and supplies. She literally just helps people. That's all she does. She does more than just being a superhero. She actually just goes around and helps people. And you know what? That was a great story arc for her character. Like she grows up. Like it's really nice. And then there's Oliver. Oliver in the book is very smart. Like they talked about it, like his teacher said like he's super smart. He learns at a accelerated rate and he's very logical. He doesn't necessarily feel things the way a human would. In the in the animated series, he's very emotional. In the comic book, he's not emotional. Like he's never emotional. Like um, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but in the future seasons, he will do something that's almost borderline sociopathic. Like, and Well, some might not say it's a positive thing, but I think that's an interesting development for that character. A like hyper intelligent sociopathic child. I think that's a much more interesting character than a rebellious teenager. You know, I think the character that was whatever in the books were much more interesting. Another thing about Mark that I would say is different between the book and the series is that Mark in the series wallows in his failures a lot. Like he's haunted by his past. Like it's a lot, like almost too much. Well, the book Mark understand he failed, and like he feels guilty about it, but he doesn't like wallow in it. He doesn't dwell on it too much. Like he moves on like a normal person. But in the animated series, he's drowning in it almost, and that's a problem. Like there's so many differences, and most of them are not good. The third difference I would say is the time. I think in the I think in 4 seasons, I think only 2 years passed in the anime series, but I think in the books, I believe it was they were at, I think by the end of season 4 they were at issue 80, which I'm gonna say was like at 4 or 5 years. Like I think by the end of season 4 or issue 80, they were invincible, or Mark was at least 23, 22 by then. Like several years had passed. Not two, like the entire Viltrumite War, I believe it spanned 1 year. And like most things, it took much longer. They they shortened the time span between events. I don't know why. I think it's because of the shorter nature of the uh, episodes. Like there's only 10 episodes or something. I think not even 10, 8 episodes. I believe there's only 8 episodes. So I think because of that, they reduce the time, because I believe in 4 seasons they only went like 2 years, and that's I think that reduces the impact because like the longer time frame gives the story more nuance, I guess. Mm. The thing that I have a problem with that lots of people don't is voices. Like I like Steven. I think he is great, but I do think as Invincible gets older, his voice doesn't necessarily match. Like when Invincible is older, I think I expect him to have a more deeper voice. Whereas Steven Yeun always sounds like a teenager. I don't like Walton Goggins for Cecil. Even in fact, I don't think I like Cecil as a character in the animated show, because in Cecil in the comic book was again different, more morally flexible, just a much different character. Battle Beast. Another, he was a fan favorite in the comic book. Like he literally has his own spin-off series, but here he's like the punchline, like the joke. Because in the in the comic book series, he is much serious character. Like he has not necessarily death, but he has like an honorable trait that's not really shown. He's more shown as like this crazy battle maniac. But in the comic book, he's more than that. He has reason why he's like this. That's not really explored very well. So these are the reason why I think Invincible sucks. If you agree with me, put it in the comment. If you don't agree with me, put it in the comment. Goodbye.